Okay. We should be live. Sorry, I'm a bit late. The computer decided to give me a scare and reboot in loop. So yeah, seems to be working fine now. Hopefully I will have no more issues with overheating or whatever. Because I've been playing Ashes of Creation in the afternoon and taking a toll on my computer, but hopefully there is no damage. So today we are going to continue working on this character controller. So if I show you what I have right now, I have movement working with physics, and my main issue was that I had no predicted physics body in the client side. So that's why there was no recast seen from the client side. So you absolutely need to have a physics body predicted. And that's also why the sphere that I've placed, that I had placed, which was interpolated, was not doing its job. Which makes sense because if the entity is interpolated, there is no need to run physics because the position is interpolated from the server snapshots. So there is no need to run physics on those interpolated entities. So to get my player to be considered into the physics on the client side, all I had to do was to add the physics velocity component, even if I'm not using it. So if I look at the entity now, I should have a physics velocity. Yeah, so even if I'm not using it, it's always 0 for my character. It's necessary for the client physics to be built, or the physics world on the client to be built, so that the recast can actually be performed. So yeah, that's what was not working. And right now, what I'm doing is just doing a vertical recast for the grounding. And whenever I hit something, I set my position to that point. So that works perfectly fine if I'm on flat ground, if I jump, for instance, that works fine. But it seems to work fine for stairs, for instance. This is an acceptable behavior, let's say. But in fact, if I work on something that is a lot more irregular, this is not the proper path that I should take, obviously. So I want the character to move in a straight line and not to jiggle around. I don't know how to say that. And also, since I'm not taking into consideration the slopes, so it seems to work fine when I move up and or down, but if I stay in the edge, on the edge of the cylinder, I will move all the way up, and same thing, I clip through everything if I just collide with any surface. So that's what I want to fix today. I want to apply the collide and slide algorithm. Oh, hello, Coding Jammer. Yeah, so yeah, find the cause. Reading the documentation was helpful, even if I figured out the solution by looking at discussions, Unity discussions. Some other people also had this this issue, and it was mentioned to be because of that. So that solved my issue. I still have the issue if I go with a high ping. I think I still have the issue of the jump. Yeah, on the client side there is still this bounce, so that I still did not figure out. and the physics did not help, so I will ignore that for now and focus on the implementation of the collide and slide algorithm. And for that, I will first try to edit my current collision system and make sure that I'm still working the same way, because I just don't want to set the position, but I want to actually apply the first step of the collide and slide, which is collide and not slide, but just move until the collision. So for that, I will go into my physics system, the locomotion system. Hello. I don't know if it's supposed to be one Daraka or I Daraka. I don't know, but hello. How are you? So the locomotion utils. Yeah, which one? First one or second one? I don't know. Yeah, it's fine. I just had a bit of a scare with the computer running hot, but yeah, it seems to be working properly now, so that's good. So in my Verlet step, that's where I'm doing the collision right now, and this is just some debugs that I can remove for now to clean up the code a bit. And what I'm doing here is just simply doing a capsule cast from my previous position, so the collider value, Verlet position, and adding the displacement to the current position to check where I want to go. And I'm finding the closest it, and I've made this custom collector because one of the issue that I had was that I was colliding with myself. So if you just spawn the entity and do a collider cast and it collides with itself, setting the position to the position point, you just have your capsule that is completely moving upward always. So Coding Jammer has one off-topic question. What CPU are you using? Because on my AMD Ryzen 3 7X and netcode for entities with physics 15 FPS, I think I have Ryzen 5950X, something like that. Yeah, all questions are fine. I'm glad. I'm happy to answer them in both in English or French if you are more comfortable in French. It's fine for me. So yeah, I'm using a 5950X and is a bit overheated, I think. Yeah, it's not giving it to me here, but yeah. Let me check system. Yes, so that's what I have. AMD Ryzen 9 series 5950X. And for me in editor, so if I'm going in editor, one thing that, do you have also physics in your scene, Coding Jammer? Because the predicted physics, where is it? No, reloading. Yes, so that may be something. Yeah, predicting ghosts on the physics side takes a lot of stuff because it has to run it several times. And actually, there is a setting in one of the object, one of the entity that is on the client always. Let me start running it. And on the client, Client server tick rate. If you look at this, you have this option, max simulation step batch size. And this basically will help in the prediction loop. So for the client, if you have to predict several steps and there is too many steps to predict, it can batch up to 4 steps together. So that means that it will simulate once the prediction group, but with 4 times the delta time. So it's taking less iteration time, but it makes it less precise. So that was one of the investigation or hypothesis for the little bump at the end of my jump, but that did not solve it, unfortunately. Okay, so all right, it's been Unreal and Unity, and I wanted to make a multi-platform game and use Linux. Unity enchanted me, but can you answer me a question about performance? I recently played a Steam game called Bloodstrike and was impressed as the game looked beautiful and ran over 200 FPS on my computer. I also able to play with friends who were on mobile. Can Unity make performance much better for cross-platform? Yeah, I think so. So I haven't used Unreal, but my understanding of Unreal is that they are more focused on, let's say, or seems to be more focused on hyper-realism. So something really realistic. Even though Unity with their last demo at Unite was already quite impressive also. But as far as I know, I think Unity is more or is simpler if you want to do cross-platform development, and with ECS and dots and so dots in general, so ECS, burst, and jobs, you can absolutely get amazing performance. If you haven't had a look, you can take a look at the Megacity Metro demo. You can look at, I think there is a presentation in Unite that they did, where they can play up to, I think it's 64 players on a networked multiplayer game, cross-platform, so with phones, PCs, and so on. So yeah, my personal preferences would be to go to Unity. But again, I haven't used Unreal. I'm pretty sure that it's a question of preference rather than actual real differences, at least at my level. So yeah. And I hope I answered to your question, Coding Jammer. I did not change this value. I tried, but it did not have any impact on me, so I left them as is. As I was saying, so I'm making a closest it collector, so to get the closest it that is not myself, and that's done by implementing the iCollector interface. And this is just a template. You can get that from the documentation or inspire yourself from the actual files of Unity. I simply asked ChatGPT to make me one, and it gave me one, and it's working fine, so great. And yeah, so that part is okay. Coming back to this part, and here, so the issue I have here is that I'm actually setting the position of the entity to be the position of the it, which is not exactly correct. What I should do is from the collector, I can get the closest it and the fraction, which basically is the distance that I've managed to cross or to do in the direction of my cast until I hit something. So I want to move up until that point, but just a little bit before, and then stop. So that's what I want to do now, but I think I need to change a bit how I do my cast input, because I will need to have the actual displacement. So let's do a float. Oop, 3 displacement. Which will be equal to this, basically. And here I'm also doing something that I'm not sure I will keep, because this is to... So this is the velocity of my character. If I go back to the scene, if I'm on flat ground and I'm just casting along the velocity, if I'm moving along the plane, the ground plane, my velocity will be fully horizontal. It's taking a... yeah, it's not starting because I have compiler 0, of course. But yeah, basically, let's create a capsule just for the example. So let's say that this is my character. Okay. So if I'm just casting, let's say, moving along the x-axis and just casting that way, I will not hit anything. And I will just have to make my capsule fall slowly to the ground. So that's why I'm adding also a vertical component to be able to check below me if I'm moving horizontally and stuff like that. So that's something that I will also probably need to change. So your only reason you thought about Unreal was the use of Blueprint, which is said was easier for newbies like me, and also because of the library. So my understanding of Blueprints is that it's closer to visual scripting, so Bolt, what was called Bolt before it was bought by Unity. But that will definitely not take advantage of jobs and burst and ECS. If you have no experience at all in game development and C#, I think that maybe starting with dots may be a bit complicated, but at the same time, I'm a bit in between the two opinions. I know that some people say it's much easier to start learning with mono behaviors and C# and not take care of dots at all. But at the same time, even with my very little experience that I had with mono behavior, making the switch to dots and ECS, I think, is much more complicated if you have already the mono behavior mindset. So it's up to you. I personally started using dots when it first came out, like almost 7 or 8 years ago, something like that. I don't remember the exact date, with the first early alpha versions. And I'm not going back to mono behavior. I think I want to focus on ECS and dots. There are still some areas where you can't do without mono behaviors, such as animation and stuff like that. So I will still wait eagerly for Unity to solve that. But yeah, if you have no experience at all, and so let me go back in the chat, because what you wanted to make as a game. So you want to make a multiplayer game that works on mobile or cross-platform. Is that correct? Because if that's the case, I know that's what I'm doing, but don't do what I do. Do what I say, not what I do. But starting with a multiplayer game, cross-platform, maybe a bit challenging. I'm doing that because I like to learn, basically. But yeah, it's definitely a challenge, and I don't think it's the best strategy if you want to learn or to get your game, rather to get your game on the market. But to each their own strategy. I'm planning on doing my streaming while I'm learning everything. So hope you will enjoy it. And Coding Jammer was saying there are, but if you are at this point, I would not consider starting with ECS or Unreal. Yeah, exactly. I agree with Coding Jammer. If you are just starting, start with simple mono behavior. There is a ton of learning resources. Obviously, Brackeys is the go-to channel whenever you want to do some kind of system or whatever. CodeMonkey also has great courses, both free and paid, but you can already get a lot of value from the free stuff he has on his channel and on his website. So definitely check it out. And if you are just starting, yeah, it's probably better to start with mono behavior, especially if you are not working like me. If you are not working in game dev, you want to publish your game, start with mono behavior. There will already be a lot of other stuff to learn in marketing, publishing, and stuff like that. So definitely, yeah. If you want to get your game out in a realistic time frame, don't start with ECS or dots, and uh, don't overscope it. So already, if you want multiplayer cross device, I assume that it's not local multiplayer. So that means next network game, which is yet another level. So yeah, don't be discouraged. I'm not saying that you should not try to start or try to do something, but manage your expectation and understand that it's a complicated topic. So take it step by step. Um, and I forgot what I was doing. I was doing this displacement. Yeah, okay. And normally, my new position, I've already updated it here from the full distance. So I actually should remove from my new position, remove the, oops, displacement. Actually, I can't. Yeah, let me try to start without this. So the displacement is here. That's my displacement. And I want to walk back my displacement. So I will remove 1 minus my closest. Where is it? Collector first, sorry. Closest fraction times the displacement. Let's see if that works. Already. Yeah, with Coding Jammer is correct. With mono behavior, it's not netcode for entities, it's netcode for game object, which is a different beast also. Much more documented, I think. And the multiplayer center is also more integrated or works better with netcode for game object. So if you start with game object, it will definitely be easier. Okay. And no, there is no error here. 79, line 79. I have all that I want, so I think I will end up removing hot reload because I'm not sure if he's messing up with the recompilation. So if it's not started, I usually get a miscompilation or something like that, like errors which should not be there. So I'm using it to force a recompile, but maybe it's not a good idea to keep it because it's not working as well as I expected. I had it with a project that was not networked for entities, but still had entities, and it worked quite well. But with the networking, it's not there yet. So, okay. So the good thing is that I'm not falling through the ground. And the bad thing is that I'm not moving at all. And I think I'm not moving because my capsule is basically touching the ground. So whenever I do a cast, I'm already, so I have a 0 fraction, which means that I'm rolling back the full movement. So that was my small position update. So let's take it the other way around and say that I will offset my cast by if I offset my cast by a small amount, let's try that. Gravity direction times 0.1f. So basically I'm just doing the cast a little bit over the ground to check if that works. No, I'm still not moving. Time for some debug. Is there a hit? There is a hit, I think. So let's do a debug.log collector. I need to use this syntax, otherwise it will complain with burst. Closest state dot fraction, and let's also log the position. Oops, too much position. Okay, and I want to do that only if is not client. I want to do it only on the server because that's what matters, as the authority is on the server side. And also it's difficult to do it on the client because of the prediction loop. You get tons of duplicate message every time it's recompiling. Okay. So my fraction do is 0. So that's my issue. I am eating something, but I have a fraction of 0. So I need to figure out how I can do I think in there is also the possibility to scale it. Quaternion identity and scale. Or actually, should I apply the same logic, but not from here, but here? Because if I move exactly back, I will be at the point where I'm touching something. So can I do like, should I do a minus or a plus? I should increase my fraction. So if I increase the fraction, I go further. Walking back, I think it should be a plus, which will be converted into a minus. Let's try that. So I'm trying to move a little bit before the collision. To move the character a little bit before the collision so that on the next pass I'm not already colliding with the surface, with the plane. I'm moving now. Fraction is still 0. So that's definitely not the correct approach. Or at least not the best approach. Let's do +1 to see what happens. If it's better. Because I've tried to read the papers on collide and slide, and I've read like 3 papers on that. There is another video that explained it, but it's still have issues wrapping my head around it, so that's not better. So I know that the issue was the collision. So if I do that, I'm not moving because my fraction is 0. Should I focus only on the ground for now? Should I split it into the ground and the velocity? Because if I'm just doing the velocity, if I'm just doing the ground when I'm falling down, I have a chance of going through the ground because the recast will not be long enough. So I need to take into consideration the vertical velocity. And also if I just do the vertical velocity when I'm falling down, at some point I will clip or cut, truncate the end of my jump and stick to the ground. So I need to keep this velocity. And this is my displacement. There is something to do to make it move less. So let's revert back to this one because it seemed to be okay, but do something like crazy and say 0.25. I would expect that the character would be like hovering over the ground. Noticeably. Because if I'm not going the full distance, yeah, but I'm not. Okay, that's not. Why is my character not over the ground? I don't think I can manipulate the fraction directly. So did I already try to add the or to remove the gravity direction times 0.1? Did I already try that? If I do that, that should put it slightly above the ground. So as you can see, learning how to make a physics character controller while learning netcode, while dealing with ECS and dots may not be the most efficient idea to get your game out, but especially if you're as bad at math and especially vector math as I am. It was definitely more enjoyable to play Ashes of Creation this afternoon than trying to figure out. Okay, so that's like putting me above the ground and then applying the gravity because I'm no longer grounded. So that's better in this direction. So now the question is, should I put it back here? Because my cast is not long enough, basically. So should I add that component to my cast to make sure that I'm always reaching the ground, basically? That's not better. Am I still moving across this? Okay, at least I'm not moving on top of the cylinder, and here I'm moving in a straight line. So we are on the correct path. We are on the correct path. It's on a straight line horizontally, let's say, but not vertically. So there is something to do for that. I also, technically, I should also be projecting. And if I do mass dot normalize safe, not to be screwed by a zero vector, if I do that, this displacement should take both into account the vertical and horizontal component. Because I was going through basically the wall that was the cylinder. Okay, so I'm still bumping. So yeah, I'm stopping every time I'm hitting something, which is why I'm moving very slowly. So if I'm doing that, I should not go through the wall anymore. So that's good. So now what I'm missing is the recursion part, because basically here I'm not moving the full distance, and I need to do something like this is probably going to move me farther than I want to. Float Out. No, I should update my displacement, in fact. Because I'm supposed to apply this displacement. So the displacement that I will have applied will be the fraction times the displacement. So that's the distance that I will have moved. I should decrement, in fact, I should be decrementing the distance that I've covered, so minus this. So that should be the remaining distance that I should cover. And I'm worried of making a while statement, so I will put failsafe here, not to freeze Unity. Int max recursion equal 5. And that will be a do while, and I want to do it while the displacement dot so length mass dot length squared is above let's do a small number, but and oops, no, or if my max recursion is below 0 or equal to 0. That's always false because I'm never doing that. No, that's not why you're not happy. Between a bool and an int, it's the other way around. Okay. So now I should loop through until I've done all my displacement, all my move through the frame. This will still be not working as expected because I'm not redirecting. Hello, Kutan Arkan Akgul. Hope I'm saying that correctly. It's doing okay. I'm trying to implement physics character controller or kinematic character controller that works with Unity ECS and networked netcode for entities. And I'm currently trying to apply the collide and slide algorithm, which I'm clearly failing at understanding completely. So it's a bunch of trial and errors to try to make it work. You're welcome. Hope you enjoyed, and feel free to share it with whoever you think might learn from it. And feel free to rewatch them also, because I want your help of you all to reach the monetization of YouTube, because I'm sure you currently have ads on YouTube on my videos, but I'm not benefiting from it. So it would be great if I could reach the 4,000 watch hour on the channel. So feel free to hang out in the streams that I'm doing and rewatch the videos. And if you have any question on ECS dots, you can ask them live now, or if I'm not live, you can also join the Discord channel or Discord server. Sorry. All the links should be in the description, and ask your questions there. So I'm not reorienting the velocity. I'm already on the displacement here, so I should probably not work with the displacement. Because I'm losing the velocity component and I want to reorient, or I can reorient the displacement itself. No, I can't, because if I do that, yes, it should be working, because if I reorient the displacement, it should be okay. So what I need to do for reorienting the displacement is I need to project it. So mass.project, and I want to project the displacement. Not the displacement, because this one will be decreased, and that's actually one of my issue is that I'm decreasing the displacement before using it to update the position. So that's the first mistake. Let's see if the behavior is a bit better with that. Yeah, nobody's interested in, not necessary, focus on Unity only. Yeah, like I was saying earlier, with what's coming or what they have announced in Unity next generation to have the ECS for all, I think it's better to start learning dots or ECS early on, because if you go directly to mono behavior and OOP, maybe it will be difficult to do the switch. Why don't you want to stop playing? Did I crash Unity? Let's restart it while I keep answering. So editor montage. Okay. So yeah, if you start with mono behavior, let's say, and then switch to ECS and dots, maybe the mindset will be difficult to change, rather than just learning directly dots ECS. Maybe it's a steep learning curve, let's say, but it's also diving directly into the into the data-oriented design mindset and the dots mindset. So it's both options are valid, I think, but it's up to your preference and what your goal are. If you want to make a game quickly, let's say, mono behavior is probably the best thing to do, because there is more resources to make to learn from them, and also there are a lot of systems that are currently only working with mono behaviors, like if we said audio, animation, VFX, and stuff like that. So, and there is also a lot more assets on the asset store that are working with mono behavior. There are a few assets working with dots, and I actually have a list of assets on the asset store that I've made. I need to log in. Maybe it's in the description of the video, I'm not sure. But it's definitely in the description of some of my video. I need to check, but I have where is it? Dots asset, list that are all the assets that I could find that are using dots ECS and also like cover some of the non-natively working features with ECS like animations. So yeah, you can check that out also. I will post it back in the Discord later and make sure that I have it in the description. I actually need to set some comments for when I'm in stream like that to be able to send them quickly in the chat for you guys to enjoy it. But yeah, there is much more resources and assets available on mono behaviors and on ECS, of course. Okay. So I'm freezing. Okay, so there is something. That's why I don't like to do while loops, because I'm always I don't understand why it's freezing, because it should reach 0 at some point. No. I mean, I don't get why it's locking the editor. Close and start again. But yeah, there is something. Because it's a while. It should be an end. Because if either one is true, it keeps going. So that's why I need to have both of them. So maximum recursion below 0 will exit on its own. Yeah, definitely they will add more assets in the future. Maybe mine will be part of the assets for Unity, for dots, I mean. And they have announced that they are working on ECS for all, so I assume the integration will be easier in the coming years, let's say. So hopefully it will get a wider adoptions, because I really think that it's an awesome tech, and I'm glad I picked it up early, let's say. And you can already use bursts and jobs even without ECS, so you can already take advantage of that even if you don't want to learn ECS. Even I personally, I think it's easier to use jobs and burst with ECS than with mono behavior, but again, it's a question of habit, I guess. Yeah, no garbage. Can use multi-threaded code. Jobs makes it a hell of a lot easier to do that. Initially, there wasn't much stuff that you could do that would get you. Okay, and now I'm freezing again. I don't understand why this keeps happening. But there is some cracks in the safety now that lets you, if you're not careful, have memory leaks or stuff like that. So for instance, if you are storing native containers into components on ECS components, you can easily do some memory leaks. So it was not initially possible, but yeah, I guess you have to open up a bit of the stuff and make sure that people know what they are doing. I really need to find a way not to have it crash, because it's not going to be productive if it keeps crashing. So let me think again about my condition here. If there is still a sufficient displacement and I still have some recursion left, I should loop. If the displacement remaining is small enough, this will be false. So the whole thing will be false. So it will exit. And if I no longer have any max recursion, it should be false. So it should exit also. So that should be good. So the only thing that I can think of is that it did not recompile. So let's force a recompile just to make sure. So it's nice to have some activity in the chat and people to discuss with. It's been a couple of streams that I felt a bit alone. So I don't know if it's the timing or if it's the current events in the world or stuff like that, but let me know if you think that there is a time that's better or not. I postponed, I was supposed to stream yesterday, but I postponed it because I wasn't feeling still quite good. And also I didn't want to compete with another Dots streamer that I'm sure you know of, which has the Outpass show at the same time. So I probably want to switch a bit the schedule to make sure that I'm not doing stuff at the same time as other people. Okay. So I'm no longer freezing. That's already, don't seem to be freezing. That's better. Okay, okay. Yeah, 1:14 a.m. Yeah, probably probably not the best time for a recurring stream on your side, but you can watch the replays. It's already always available on YouTube. Yeah, so I need to figure out the reorientation stuff. So I'm moving there. I'm updating the displacement, and this is the displacement that I should probably project. Project the displacement along the surface normal. And if I do that, I will have the displacement on the surface normal, and what I want it along the distance normal. So this should be it. I can do it like that if you prefer. Rider is a little bit exigent on the syntax. Compiling scripts. It's still compiling them, so I'm probably, and there is this little, I think, yeah, I'm positive I will remove, for the next stream, I will remove hot reload because I really think that it's messing up the recompilation with the netcode for entities package. Okay. That's not really better. Smooth there. No, That's not smooth at all. Uh, so you really admire the Dots team for what they've accomplished. They created new type of C# usage, no GC, C#, and almost all the things work with the struct stack and unmanaged memory. Yeah, I mean, I'm not an expert in C++ development, but I think it's getting closer to what C++ is, because I think in C++ you actually need to manage a lot more your memory, but they made it in a way that it's easy to manage, or at least safe to manage, or safer to manage, because you have all the sentinels and safety systems that warn you if you have a memory leak, or if you are doing something that is not supposed to be happening. So yeah, it's really an amazing work. It took some time. It's been, like I said, like 7, 8 years. I don't know, since the first version of ECS. So yeah, it's definitely an amazing work. Probably need to do some debug on that. But again, doing some debug in the prediction loop is another hassle. Because yes, that's the correct projection. Value minus vertical, so value minus the projection. So that's correct. If is not the client, so on the server, let's do a draw new arrow. Ouais, new arrow. The arrow is starting from the new position and it's going towards the displacement, no scale, and then color blue. Let's try to draw an arrow of the displacement. I saw that he made a dots course. I took a peek at some of the preview, let's say, but no, I didn't. I didn't buy the course and I didn't watch the course. He actually, I think, watched some of my videos and we answered, or we discussed a bit on the forums, on the former forums. So there is, I'm sure, definitely stuff that I could learn from him, but I'm more focused on learning ECS and netcode myself, and also what's around the physics of character controllers. So no, I haven't had time to watch that. I know that Turbo Max Game did watch it, and he was impressed by the quality of the content and also by the animation system he did using blob assets. So if you're interested, and if my course motivated you to learn a bit more and you want to give it a try, I'm sure you will learn some other stuff. And again, it's not, everyone explains things differently and everyone needs to have the explanation in a different way. So it's always good to have different take on a subject so that you can understand it better, because maybe my explanation don't resonate with you, or you can't I can't make you understand basically, and someone else will explain it in a slightly different way, and it will click for you. So just like I'm not clicking with this collide and slide, because I'm not sure I'm even seeing my debug arrow. And I'm bothered because if I'm not seeing my debug arrow, maybe it's because it's not recompiled correctly. I don't know. Oh no, it's more likely because I didn't put any time on it. So let's make it last 5 seconds. Because by default, it takes the time of the delta time. So for it to last 1 frame. But since I'm using netcode and stuff like that, it's probably not detecting it correctly and not displaying it correctly. So yeah, it's from what I understood, he baked the prefab or the animations into blob assets and is swapping the blob assets at runtime to actually do the animation. And that's something that I will take from that also. So the projection is not correct, definitely not correct, because I should not be going into the ground. Yeah, he's doing that full time also. He's been doing that full time for like over 10 years, so he's got a lot of practice. Even the "hello, I'm your code monkey" at the beginning of the video is not pre-recorded. It's re-recorded every time, even though it's always perfect. And so my displacement, that's the same thing, we agree, yeah. Let's actually draw the normal. The normal at that point. So let's see what it looks like. Well, thank you. I actually did it twice. There was a first iteration and it helped me a lot in structuring the second one. So yeah, it's a learning process also to do that. So the normal is as I expected, but I would want the displacement not to be like that, like it was before, but like that, to move along the plane. So why is my displacement not moved correctly? Maybe because I draw it before projecting it. Displacement. Okay. And the displacement will be red. Just like it's another thing that I need to learn is coding while speaking on different topic and still get some work done to be focused on what I'm actually doing and reduce my iterations. And okay, so now this is correct. But my issue is that I'm not actually changing my velocity, in fact. I'm doing that to do the projection, But when I'm computing the new velocity, current velocity, yeah, I'm not changing. Yeah. So I think that what's happening here, because if you, I stop it, of course. Let's do it again. I think that what's happening here is if we take a look here, we do have the normal and the displacement that is correct. But on the next frame, I'm still moving horizontally, basically. So while I'm iterating, I do follow the ground. But after I'm done iterating on the next frame, I'm no longer doing that. So actually, that's the velocity. Do I need the... I'm also resetting the current vertical velocity. It's a strange thing to do here. Should I do that? If I don't, does it mess up my jump? Because I was doing that not to keep going through the ground. I think I will still go. Why is my jump so low? What's happening? It can't be this line that's helping me. You learn many things about dots and ECS, but some systems still missing animation, sound. I'm learning the basics and waiting. Yeah, same here. I'm eagerly waiting on the animations. And oh, that's curious. Okay, so if I don't reset the velocity to 0 here, that's strange. Yeah, I was saying that I'm waiting on the animation and also the audio, even if I'm not sure that I haven't worked a lot with audio. I think there are I think it's F mode, I think it's called, that is already quite good for decoupling your audio from your logic. So already with system base and class component, you should be able to integrate with Fmod easily, let's say. You could even use native streams or stuff like that to trigger to queue commands, events. Hello, Yok. Nice seeing you. So if I'm removing this, I'm no longer jumping really at all. And that's probably because of this displacement. Now the cast is okay. I'm also moving very slowly, even if I'm on the ground now. Yeah, I'm supposed to move faster than that, I think. Let's bump up the speed. And 10. Okay, good night, Kutan, Arkan, Akul, and maybe see you in another stream or in the comments of the replays. Is combining dots and multiplayer hard? Uh, for me, yes, because I'm basically learning the principles of netcode as I'm going. I am quite familiar with ECS, but netcode is a bit new for me, even if I did do some other prototype project with it. It's not yet an habit, let's say. And also, there is a big difference between doing a network game with assets and trying to do your movement yourself, apparently. So yeah, it probably would have been, it would probably be much easier to use the rival character controller or the dots character controller and just adapt it to make it work with netcode. There is a whole section in the documentation that tells you what to do, basically. But I really want to understand stuff so I can maybe explain them better later. So I think that's part of why I'm doing it myself and struggling myself. And I'm doing it in the live stream because I need the watch hour, and it's also a nice way to share and discuss with my community, let's say. And also it's recording everything, so if I have screw ups, I can keep track of them. Oof. If you want to, so it depends. Do you want to use ECS or do you want to use dots? Because they are not the same thing. If it's just dots in the sense of burst, collections, mathematics, and jobs, you could probably go with Photon. If you want to use ECS, I'm not sure that Photon is working with ECS. I don't know. You would have to ask the Photon guy. I'm pretty sure they have a Discord server or something like that, or even in the multiplayer forum. Do you know there is a dedicated Discord on Unity for multiplayer? Because you can also ask over there if you need guidance. For me, for now, if I would say that if you are using ECS, you should use netcode for entities, but at the same time, ECS is a bit of a learning curve. Mm, so if you want to do a vampire survivor like game, I personally I would do it with ECS, not just dots, because I think that you are expecting to have a lot of enemy entities, and actually Turbomex game is doing or has been doing a clone of that, a vampire game survivor. I think there are couple of videos on his channel on the topic, or he's talking about it on the Outpass show, if I remember correctly, in some episodes. But I would do it with ECS. But if you are doing a vampire survivor, why do you need the multiplayer? Spill the beans. Give us your inspiration. You want it to be a co-op or something like that? Yeah, co-op game, yeah. So yeah, there is the multiplayer center. So if it's for is it a requirement to use dots and or ECS for your graduation project or not? Uh, where is the multiplayer center? Multiplayer center. Yeah, no. So if it's not a requirement and if you haven't used, so I don't know where you are in your studies or when is your project due, but if you are familiar with mono behaviors and Unity, don't use ECS, don't use dots. If you are just at the very beginning of your learning and in your curriculum, you will have DoD, so data-oriented design, ECS, and stuff like that. You can try to start working on that if you have like several bonds before you. If not, I would really suggest that you don't use ECS or dots for a project. If it's a project that's due like in 1 month or a few weeks, even a couple of months, I think you would have more chance to finish the project not using ECS. Yeah, not a professional, not a beginner, but even like I think that you have enough time for developing. Yeah, I mean it's up to you. You can take a look already at Unity 6 and the multiplayer center. There is some recommendations. So if you want to do like a co-op game, so let's say what should be it's not super casual fighting racing. Let's say some kind of adventure game. This gameplay is not super fast. It's not like a FPS or something like that. Cheating is not important at all because it's a co-op game. As little cost as possible. And the recommendation here would be netcode for game object and distributed authority. So that's actually could be something interesting to look at because it's not available yet with ECS and netcode for entities. But the distributed authority model could be something interesting to study also. So it's up to you, but it depends on how confident you are in your skill set, in your learning capacity, because there is definitely way more resources on netcode for game objects and for mono behaviors and on ECS. So if you ever struggle on something, it will be way easier for you to reach out for help on the forum, on Discord, and stuff like that. Because if you are stuck on something in netcode for entities or in ECS, there currently is not a lot of people who can help you. So it's up to you. Choose wisely. And time is flying, and I'm not closer because I keep forgetting also what I'm doing. Yeah, you're welcome. Don't hesitate. If you go the ECS and dots route, don't hesitate. I think my screen flashed for a little bit. If you need help on ECS side, you can join the Discord and try to ask your question. There is also the Turbo Makes Game Discord channel that has a big community on DoD and Unity ECS. And of course, there is the Unity discussions forum if you really want share your issue or your project and get some help. So what I was saying here is that yeah, you want the my Discord, so I can create another invite quickly. Wine games. Discord crashed. Okay, better invite. No expression. Unlimited. Create the link. So that's my Discord channel. There is the TurboMax game Discord channel also. And if you want on multiplayer, there is this channel also from Unity that is dedicated to multiplayer. So this one is the multiplayer dedicated Discord server for from Unity. And you can ask questions on both netcode for game objects and netcode for entities. You're welcome. And of course, check out my tutorial series on entities if you want to start learning and if you are not familiar with it. Linked in the description, I think. If not, you can just look at my channel. There is a playlist. There's actually 2 playlists. And the newest one is in the blue background. With the blue background. So my issue is that I'm not actually updating the velocity because I have the velocity here, but that's the one I'm using throughout the rest of the logic, and I should have reoriented and decreased that velocity based on the collision response. So that's something that I need to do to update it. But time is flying by, and I'm mixing stuff like displacement, velocity, direction, projection. So I think I need to think about it with a straight head and do a bit of refactor. Thanks for the subscribe a long time ago then. Hope you enjoyed the content, and please share it, rewatch it, and if you have questions, do come to the Discord channel, Discord server. Keep saying Discord channel, but the server, full server, and ask your questions. Come discuss, come exchange, share your ideas, share your issues, so that other people can learn from them also. And yes, so I need to refactor and I need to think about when is it the best time to split the vertical and horizontal velocity, because I'm already splitting it here and I wanted to split it after, but I'm setting it to 0 here, and doing that or not doing that causes issue in the jump, because what I wanted is to not do that. Oops. Not do that here, so that the decomposition can happen after that, and in that case I would be able to update the velocity to be the projected displacement divided by the time step. But if I do that, that I think that screws up my jump, and we'll see if that mess up the movement. In terms of logic and way of thinking, it's easy to understand the collide and slide algorithm, but when it comes to actually implementing it, okay, so my jump is no longer messed up, and probably I should go back to more reasonable ping so that it helps me also not to have too much discrepancies. And what's happening? The path is very strange. So I am most likely doing something wrong. Am I okay? I'm going down here now. It's hard to tell. And I can't step. There is something broken with this project, and I don't like it. The good news is that I can move properly if I jump. So let's take a look here. This projection is all messed up. There is something that I'm not doing correctly, so I need to figure out the proper way to do both the not going straight to the collision point. I need to review again the collide and slide algorithm. I need to rewatch one of the videos. I have watched a video quite some time ago on that topic, so I need to refresh my memory on that. I don't think I will be able to solve that today. But the principle is that you cast your collider. If you hit something, you project or you reorient your remaining velocity towards the plane. If it's a supporting plane, if it's not a wall or something like that. And keep moving. So I think I will leave it at that today. Thanks again for joining, asking all the questions you had, and staying with me. As usual, you can like, share, subscribe. You can share the or come to the Discord server to ask any questions, or share your showcase, your project, stuff like that. If you want to connect with me. If you want to support me, there is links in the description, in my bio and stuff like that for the asset store. So these are affiliate links. I will post the link to the dots assets that are existing on the asset store. And if you want to support me more directly, you can join, go to my Coffee page, sorry, to give do a single donation, monthly subscriptions, whatever you want, and it will be much appreciated. So thank you. And again, if you have some time, rewatch or watch the previous streams. That will help me a lot into reaching the monetization threshold for YouTube. So all the help is appreciated. Thank you again, and see you hopefully in the next stream. I will update probably the schedule. I'm not sure if I will keep on Mondays, Wednesday, and Friday. Maybe I will switch things up a bit. So if you have any preferences, let me know in the comment, and I will see if that's compatible with my timeline, my schedule. Otherwise, catch you next time live on Discord or in the comment section. Thanks for joining, and see you next time. Bye.